this is the shell that we did earlier. Now, you could say, well, it's upside down. Wait a minute. Whoa, there we go. You could say, oh, that's good enough. But to me, it's boring. It needs to be lifted because the definition between the motif in here and the box, it's pretty mute. It doesn't have any clear lines of definition. So what I'm going to do is show you how to put a line all the way around that. Now, what I'm going to be using is this stuff here. Now, that's Swiss pear. And for me, I find Swiss pear is a really nice timber to use for putting lines around pieces of work because it's tough, it's durable, but it's also flexible and it doesn't split. Now, the only pieces of Swiss pear I've got are that big. And you'll notice that that is a lot longer than that. So I'll show you how to cut it and join it, and then I'll show you how to inlay this into that job. Oh. First things first, it really doesn't matter about the upside and downside because we're actually putting this on its side, and it's pretty much of a muchness with this stuff. Where's my knife gone? Here we go. And the straight edge. So the way I do it is just take quarter of an inch or thereabouts. What's that? 6 mil, 5 mil? Doesn't really matter. And just cut 2 strips. See how easily that cuts compared to that palo santo we had last week? So you got 2 strips. Oh, some sticky tape. Where would my workshop be without sticky tape? Now overlay one piece on the other, but make sure your overall length is longer than what you need. Put some sticky tape on it. And then with a straight edge or a ruler, I'll grab a ruler. And for those of you that have missed it, on the back of my rulers, especially the ones that I use for cutting veneer, I've got some, I think it's 240 wet and dry. This one's the same. And also, on triangles. The reason for that is it stops it from slipping. If I had that side down and I go like that, it slips. If I've got this side down and go like that, it doesn't. That way it makes it more accurate. Get your ruler and just at a very steep angle, cut the veneer like this. Look, it doesn't matter if you're not spot on accurate, it's just got to be pretty close. There we go. Now we take the sticky tape off. Line these 2 bits up. Sticky tape on one piece. And sticky tape on the other piece so they line up. Grab some glue. Just spread it where you've opened those 2 pieces up. Close it. Maybe get another bit of sticky tape. And on the other side, the side that hasn't got the sticky tape, just put another piece. And there you have it. And you let that dry. If it's got to dry for overnight or whatever, it doesn't matter. Just let it dry. And that's a scarf joint that you've just done there. And what you'll end up with is this. And this is very flexible. And the joint is actually there. So when you're joining this, or when you're actually inlaying it, you make sure that where the glue joint is you made isn't on a sharp corner, it's on a gentle corner. And in this case, we'll have that coming across where that join is. I'll have that there. So I've got solid timber that will be able to handle these sharp corners here. All right, so that's the start. Now, how do you get it to go in? Knife again, and it's a question of cutting around the motif that you've just glued in, and you have to be careful, and I shouldn't be talking while I'm doing it, but there you go. Sometimes you've got to go over it a few times. This is tricky when you're going around the corner and against the grain. If you can see the grain's running this way, when I'm cutting here, that's fine because the grain's running downhill and there's no resistance to my knife. But when I'm going this way, I'm actually cutting uphill, which creates resistance to the knife. The thing I love about Marquetry too is there are so many different little tools that you need that really you can't buy. So you have to make them, and I'm on the second go around now. And it's much easier the second time round because you've already defined that track you want to run in. All right, that's done that bit. Now, what we have to do is gouge out a recess, the thickness of this veneer down to the level we've just put the knife, which is about 0.6 of a mil, or I don't know what that is, 128th of an inch maybe. And what I've made is this special little tool here that's actually a hacksaw blade that I've just, you might be able to see it better here, that I've just made a hook on and tapered the edge down to the thickness of a piece of veneer. So now the idea is to, where we've cut around with the knife, I use this to score to the depth that we've cut with the knife, but also the width of the thickness of the veneer that we're going to put in there. So here we go. And again, be careful that you stay within that line and don't deviate and go into either the design or the surrounding area. And at this stage you'll notice I haven't sanded the design. I want the design to be as fat as I can, so if I have got room, for error, if I do make an error and it's light, when I sand it, I might be able to get away with it. So it's just a question of keep on going around and around and around. Now again, I would normally do this with hide glue, but amongst other things I forgot to turn the pot on, so I will use PVA. And the other thing good about that is you'll know it'll work with PVA, and it will. It'll work just fine. It's another reason I like the plywood that I use, which is birch ply, is apart from the fact it's excellent ply, it's a lot softer. And so when I'm gouging in, as I'm doing now, it has a bit of give in it, which is what you're after, because there's a fair amount of pressure on this old hacksaw blade. Look at that. Got to be happy with that. There we go. All right. Now, as we did with when we joined this piece, we put a scarf joint in it. I'm going to do the same for when I find out what size I need. So for that, I'm just going to, actually we might be better off with that one. Put this in here. Okay, look at that. Look, we've had success. See how that's hanging in there? That's what I want all the way around. So I'll just get a bit of glue. So now we're starting to put this in. I'm just working around the corner here. And as you work it around, you just sticky tape it into place. Now I'm going to put all I'm doing with a pair of scissors is cutting this at an angle, like so, and pushing that right into the clearance. Okay, I'll take that down. Now this piece here, I'll put that in to the recess. And bring it around. And this bit that I cut before, I cut this in the opposite direction. And hopefully they will marry up quite nicely. Honestly, this makes such a difference. And then just a tad of glue on the top of that tapered bit that went in there. And this goes in there and marries up with that. That's it. So we'll let that dry, and then next week we'll cut it off and sand it back, and you will be absolutely amazed with what a difference all that messing around did.